What's going on, guys? We're gonna get going, do a little update video. We're gonna load some stuff up in the truck and get over and start working. Blam, 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 splam. So this is going on that 02. It had a cowl hood on it. We're gonna hope it's going to go on that 02 or 04. My bad. But let's get going. What's going on, guys? It's been a while. Had a newborn, year-old now. Got an update video coming up. We're going to get some new parts put on the white car, and then also going to work on show you some on the 2-valve 04 GT. It's about ready to start. I got to go get stuff from the weld shop today. Got the intake tube. I had to move the mass air meter over, but we'll get some video of that. It's just been kind of chaotic with a newborn here going on, past year now. But we're gonna get some update videos on the cars, get the rear end built in the white car, try to get the supercharged car running, and hopefully get some street time, maybe some even track time if we can. There's a big show next weekend. I don't think I'm gonna make it. I was gonna try to make it next week, but I may still walk around with the camera and film some next week. So let me get to the shop and we'll be right back. All right, let's get going. Got a few things gonna move around. Supercharged car. We're gonna get to that here in a minute. Let's move some stuff. All right, there we go. Got distracted. Big old black widow sitting here in the garage door. Got distracted a little bit. All right. Like to get out and play in this lightning some, but just haven't had time either. And it's full of flooring, but it's all stock. I think its best pass was like a 1398 or so. That's spinning off the lines. It wouldn't hook up. It wouldn't hook up at all off the line. All right, let's get to some updates here. Most everything's done on this car. CO2. I reran all the wire for the battery disconnect, and I do have another tail light that I did drill a hole in. I'll show it later. But the rod comes through here where I can disconnect, switch back to stock tail light, for the street use. I still got a lot of putting back together on this car, but for the most part, everything turned out good. We're trying to make a panel to cover up the Raider Sport here to hopefully force some more air in and just kind of clean up that ugly look. So we're trying some different things since they don't make this panel. But everything looks good. Mac valves on this car. I've driven this car a few times. I still got a little bit of issues to deal with in the tune. I turned it down to about 10 pounds of boost right now just to play on the street. It is dirty, all out dirty. But we're going to get it on the lift here in a little bit. But the supercharged car, I've been fighting a bracket, getting everything to fit. This is a MMR 900 2-valve short block. It's on an aluminum block. It's got what they call it, modular head shops, like stage 3 cams. I hate calling things stages, but they're pretty big cams. About probably the most you get on without notching the pistons out more or something like that. But trick flow heads, I wish I would have put the trick flow heads on that car, but a deal I fell into on this car should wake this car up a lot too. So trick flow heads, big supercharged cams, that Brock intake, 75mm throttle body. This is the Vortec T-trim. I got a 3125 pulley upper and a 10% lower. I did the 8-rib conversion. Actually, what I'm going to start doing, I'm going to try to piece another 8-rib conversion together and sell them. So if anybody's interested in 8-rib conversions, I can either give part numbers or I can piece it all together for you and get it to you. I found a company, I don't remember the company's name right now, that does this pulley here. So this car is still on a single tensioner. I probably won't be able to see that. I could probably have to lower the car down, but I need to get busy on it. I'm still running a single tensioner on this because I didn't change out timing cover. I didn't want to have to go find a 3-bolt timing cover for this one. So Vortec, I could not find a small enough pulley to clear these 2 bolts here that hold this bracket on. Sorry. And so the idler pulley there has to be real small, like 63mm or something like that. And so I finally did find the company. It cost about $200 for the pulley, but finally got it on. Had to grind that down some. Now this bracket was made for a 96 to 98 car or whatever it is. So like I said, it needed the tensioner bolt to go through. But like I said, I eliminated that bolt. It's still held down by 4 bolts. Got these 2, this one here and this one up here that goes through the alternator. So it's still pretty stout. Besides that, I got a 2-step up there. I'm missing all the wiring harness. I'm gonna try to find if I don't sell this car before. Again, like I said, I'm getting the intake redone. It's got a slot style mass air meter, and it was interfering with the valve cover or the fill tube on the valve cover. So the guy before me must have had some trick floor valve covers on it or something like that, that he was allowed to put it up there. So I moved it back down here some. Yeah, I hate rambling on and boring you guys. I wish I had some more drive time, but I got to get going on this one. We'll do a little bit update video here in a little bit. All right, guys. So the first thing we're gonna do, I bought these Team Z rear springs. I debated whether to go coilovers or not. I have these in there. I have no idea what these are. I got these from a car when I bought this rear end. It was in a 97 Cobra. So this is actually a Cobra brake rear end car. But anyways, and of course I put all the upper and lower control arms, relocation kit. But I'm going to put these in there so I know what they are. Again, these are the Team Z rear springs. I chose to go with these instead of a coilover system. I didn't want the coilover system pushing on the shock. I hear that's a weak point to the shock mounts, and I may be wrong on that. Just stuff I've heard from some other people and the internet. Internet never lies, right? So anyways, but I chose to keep the stock springs and continue, because these strange shocks are what I put on here a couple years ago. And of course this car has no street miles on it. So I'm gonna go that direction and pop this on and off and be right back. And pop like that, it's in and out, right? Just that easy. I used a pry bar. Of course, these are already lowering springs, so stock springs, you won't be able to do that. Spring compressor, or you have to break loose the control arms and let the rear end drop down more. I did break loose the shocks, so it had a little more flex, and that were one of my isolators. Hang on. I am running still the stock style isolators. I'm gonna leave them on there. The kit came with some steel ones, but I'm gonna just run the stock ish. This one's been poked out, of course, because it is a deeper pad, but I do have the isolators on there because I don't want to hear this thing squeak. Yes, it does have, you know, the solid bushings. I don't have poly bushings in the upper and lower control arms, and it also has those other bearings, bushings, whatever, in the rear end. I forget what they're called right now. And it's really not that noisy. People complain about them being noisy, but really they're not that noisy. And I think I just lied to you guys. These are poly bushings on the bottom, but the uppers aren't. The uppers do have a solid joint, heim joint, or whatever they are. The lowers are racecraft. They're different than what the uppers are. I was thinking of my other car. But anyways, I'm going to throw this spring back in there and get to the rear end. And pop, there's that one. Yeah. A little bit of sweat, a little bit of grunting still to get in there. But it's in there. It's one thing off my list to do. Now, off to the rear end. Alright, we're back, guys. Actually, the next day. So, we've knocked the axles out. Or should I say, unbolted and unclipped. Already got the third member out. I am keeping track of what way they go here. The caps. Anyways, let's get this opened up. I had to use both hands. Oh, look, a box in a box. There we go. Oh, yeah. Some good stuff. And this is the strange 35 spline posi unit. The S-track. So anyways, looks like I got some bearing installs to do. We'll do that and see where we can go with this car. But before we can even put that in, I do got some welding I'm going to do on here. I'm going to weld the tubes up and put a brace in, and I got to lower the car down so I can get that. So give me a second. There it is. Let's get it out. And this is the Team Z brace kit. There's my old carrier. All brand new. Looks like there's more down there. Maybe not. Maybe that's just packing. Hang on. Just kidding. Just packing. Anyways, here is the Team Z part number I bought from LMR. And that's going to get, I'm going to have to prep the rear end. I'm going to have to grind a spot, weld it on there. And then I also got that. Let's see if I can reach that. So I also bought this. Wrong side. Sorry for the camera shaking around. I need to get a head mount for my GoPro, but now this should be for lower control arms. Bracket. should weld on the bottom of the lower control arms. There you go. And just so you can get your more adjustment out of your lower control arms. So that will have to go on too. And the good news is, got a hold of a tuner. I'm going to have this dyno tuned here in the next couple weeks, hopefully. I got a schedule with him. He's got to find some info out and get me on the dyno, and this thing hopefully be dynoed here in the next couple weeks. Anyways, so I got a lot to do. I'm gonna get stuff set up. I'm gonna have to run this over to the press and get the bearings mounted on it, but that's all for now. Be back. And we're back for the next day. Today I'm going to start working on putting these plates in to reinforce the torque boxes, which I never did whenever I first put all this stuff in there. I should have. So I've gotten this far. All this stuff is out. I did get bearings pressed on today. So posi units be ready to go in. Did I say posi units? Posi unit is be ready to go in. Still got to trim the axle housings, but I'm going to start working on this. Springs are in. I'm going to get the lower control arm brackets on and start getting this stuff ready to weld. I do got to bring my welder over here. There's a welder here, but I don't have a bottle or gauge stuff here. So I'm going to get some stuff set up and we'll come back to this build probably in a few. All right, guys, a whole nother day. I'm gonna be putting all these videos together, so it's gonna be all blended together. I'm sorry, I'm not good at editing stuff yet, but we're gonna throw what I can and update what's going on with the car. So you see I did got the ends cut, getting the rear end put back up in there. I do have the torque boxes bolted and tacked weld in. I didn't go crazy on welding these in. They are bolted. They are the bolt-in ones, but I did tack them in a couple spots. What I could clean up without completely dismantling this car. You know, I've spent more time working on this car than I have driving it. So, anyways, I did weld up the rear end tubes. Not the prettiest. I do got this. I'm still trying to get used to this welder. I don't daily use this kind of welder. It's got a digital setting. It's still a little weird to me on how the settings are, and I probably should research it more before just start throwing some welds on there. But I did get the tubes welded up. It's just sitting up there with the top control arms in. I'm going to put the lower brace on, front brace onto the housing, and then start throwing axles, throwing axles and posies in. Posies, here I go, say posies again, posi unit. So for now, we'll try to see what else I can get done today. I would like to completely be done with welding and axles and stuff like that today, but we shall see. Stay tuned. Alright guys, back another day, another dollar, a little more sweat, a little more blood. All right, so we're getting closer. Breathing hard, sorry, I was just setting up the exhaust, getting it back up on its mounts. I think I got bracket where I want it. We'll have to see what the height is of this rear end whenever get wheels back on it, and set my lower control arm. But still tinkering away. I got the lower brace set up here. I haven't welded it in yet. That's probably on my tomorrow list. I got to get on babysitting duties, get home with my kid here. So I figured I'd throw this little video up. So the other side's about done too. Same thing. Got to reset this bracket, finish cleaning up, and get stuff welded on. I got the little tab, but I got to grind a spot for it, but it's using the jack to hold it up there. I'll get that welded in, that tab put on, and maybe, if I'm lucky, get things done with this and get out on the street this weekend some. I'm trying to get my GoPro set up so I can put it in the car, go do some pulls on the street, and see how she runs. Anyways, here's as today, and like I said, all these videos would be combined. Stay tuned. What's going on, guys? Let's get into this update. Got most of everything done. Got it all mounted up. Everything's snugged up. I haven't put the sway bar back on yet. Got the bar welded in place. Only thing I couldn't do, now I didn't know this when I bought them, but the front braces here, you cannot, there we go, you cannot run it with tailpipes unless you modify the bracket. So I started putting the bracket here, but I couldn't get it over here. So there's that. So I just put the bottom brace on. I've already kind of screwed the paint up with running the jack, but it's okay. I'm thinking about actually taking this piece and making more of a flat surface for the jack to sit on. But besides that, I had to shim this spring a lot to make it sit even, and still I'm not quite happy where it's at, but it's gonna do for now. I still got some little stuff to do. I'm gonna finish that stuff here today and try to get it off the lift. But this is gonna be my update, final on this part. This is the 35 spline strange posi I put in, strange axles. Now I didn't get to put the VMS wheels on because they rub on the inside, but that's the wheels I'm going to end up going with eventually for my drag pack. But so far I like how it turned out. I got to finish the alignment, do a couple other things, and that should finish this update. So thanks for watching, guys, and catch you on the next one.